issues that we have, whatever issues that we have, they're gonna show up. I mean, people might not see them right now. Everybody or the world might not see it, but somebody other than you, it done presented itself and out there in the open. It always does. And God does that on purpose so you can deal with it. That's why he brings it out like that. So at the most inopportune moment, something triggers you and you just blow up and people look at you, what? Are you crazy? They look at you like you crazy. Because you don't blew up and they have no clue as to what's going on. They like, what I do? Did I do, you know what I mean? Did I do something? That's because you didn't deal with it. So now it's presenting itself so you can deal with it and get it out the way. And that's on purpose.
And that's for healing.
That's for healing. Absolutely.
It's definitely for healing. I mean, but let me say something. It'll take an effect on you differently. If you're not ready to confront something, or if you have not recognized something, then it's going to take a different effect on you. So if I don't recognize that I have this trigger, and I don't recognize that this generational curse has been playing its role for a very long time, then when it's exposed, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be even more, because it's like, wait a minute, this.
How are you defining generational curse?
Well, I mean, generational curses can stem from basically your guidance, your family structure, based off of how you were dealt with. You understand what I'm saying? And how you handle issues, how you deal with the conflict, how you deal with your anger, how you deal with some of the things that you go through in life. So everybody deals with things differently. And I know, Trey, you were talking about how like alcoholism. I was told a couple of times that, my family, they were alcoholics. So when I started partaking in alcohol as a young child, it had nothing to do with the fact that it was a generational curse, because that's what I was told. It's a generational curse because all your family are pretty much alcoholics. So, and my thing is like, I know why I was drinking alcohol. Do you understand what I'm saying? I wanted to get away from something, but see, this is the same thing that my family is doing. Drinking to get away from their issues. So yes, it could in fact be a generational curse, but if you don't recognize that that's exactly what it is, and that's what's playing a major role in your life, even like I said, being triggered by certain things, then you can't deal with it. There's no rectifying that issue, because you're not recognizing that you actually have an issue. You're dismissing it. You're saying, okay, well, I do it when I want to. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong, because at the end of the day, I don't want it to come off as judgment either. It's nothing wrong with what you do with your life, but it's something wrong when you don't recognize that something is triggering you, that's causing you to have this emotional and mental type anger and trying to get away from something that might been there for a very long time. So it's something wrong with that, but outside anything else, live your life. What you feel?
A lot of people don't know about generational curses, because I didn't until I got older. I didn't know there was such a thing as that. And the reason why I found, like, I started, Yana Van Zandt, she, instead of calling it generational curses, she says family pathology. She uses pathology. And she said, basically, it's the path that your family has followed in certain behavior all the way up until now. And when she talked to people and she says, okay, what about your parents? Well, my father did this. What about their parents? Oh, he did the same thing. She said, and she used to say, you see where I'm going? You see how so this is now showing up in your life. Now you are doing exactly what your ancestors did way back. And that's absolutely true. We don't know. I just found out not too long ago, my family, my great grandfather, well, he decided he wanted to up and lead a family and go start him a brand new one in a totally different state. Well, that accounts for my uncle, who did infidelity all his life, had a second woman, just down the line, and they just then his sons and stuff, they just carrying it on, but they don't know. They believe that what they're doing is normal. And this is normal behavior. They don't know
What
where
was
it
shown
came from or what's going on. They just know this. Well, my daddy did it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it was what was shown to them.
Yeah.
What's shown to you?
Yeah,
Like,
so they just follow behavior, and they like, okay, well, since he did it, I guess this is normal behavior. Let me do it. It just falls down the line, but nobody knows about, and I don't think they know about pathology. They don't know about generation. They don't know about any of that stuff.
well, maybe they don't see it as being a problem.
No, yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true
there's
too.
a fine there. I think there's a fine line, and I don't know, Trey. I'm not too sure if this is where you were going with that, but I think there's a fine line between generational curses and somebody just making bad choices,
Mm.
right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
because you have, let's say, a family where all the women in a family is controlling,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and somehow or another they all find submissive men,
Yeah.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
right?
mhm.
That for me, because of what they were shown from the woman that was head of this family, she didn't show them. All they saw was that relationship, but there was no like, pick this person, pick that person, pick like. So as these women grow up and they find these, and I hate to say submissive men because I hate seeing submissive women, just for the record,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll say men who are okay with just laying back and letting these women basically run the house. That is totally a different concept. I'm with Erica and Ayala. That's pathology. But that's a total different concept than having a family full of alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because like Trey said, to pick that bottle up, that is a choice.
Yeah.
It is, and with like Chingy said, my ex-husband's family, they're all drinkers. They are all drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I have always explained to my children that the bottle is not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay to have a drink, but you need, and this is so funny because they'll tell you, I always say to them, listen, y'all got that drunk gene. Y'all want to be real careful.
I know, right?
Y'all want to be real careful about, your alcohol consumption.
Uh-huh.
Right. So, but
Mm.
that's different. Those two situations, they're totally different.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, one is a conscious choice and one is a subconscious choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because these women are just being, like Chingy said earlier, like the person they were raised around.
Mm-hmm.
That is something most people, they don't even second guess it.
Right.
If mom is a cusser, they are cussers.
Mm-hmm.
If mom is a fighter, they are raised to be fighters because she's just not going to have it any other way. You got to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if mom is this stern, whatever, and dad's only job is to bring home the money, the women in that family, her daughters, will go out and find men who are okay with just being a guy who brings home the money. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, when I think about it, I feel like it's totally different because my children have a choice early whether or not they're going to pick up that bottle, right? But when you are, raising children and families and that kind of thing, we all know that children do 95% of what they see, and they only take in 5% of what you tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that also,
So,
go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sister Becky.
so basically you're saying a lot of it can be environmental?
Yes.
Things
Yes.
that we're around?
I think we throw generational curse on a lot of things and in a lot of areas that it just does not belong.
Well, if it doesn't, I also believe that if you don't address issues, it can turn into a generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come from a family that don't know how to handle conflict, then what'll happen is you won't know how to handle conflict. If you come from a family that is of controlling women, then there's a possibility you will be controlling as well. And until you recognize, that's why I said the main focus is recognizing that you actually have an issue. Because if we walk around here and be like, oh yeah, well, I'm good. Yeah, my mom was like that, but I'm all right. And you'll start to believe.
I'm sorry. What you just said right there is a generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
The whole I'm good, that is a generational curse, because we are not taught to be in touch with our emotions and our feelings. It's just like, you got to keep pressing on. Now
That's what I'm saying.
That is something that but what I'm saying is, and I get what you're saying about until you recognize it. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't deal with it until you recognize it. But here again, think about that's a lot different than somebody being an alcoholic. That's not a generational curse. For every single person, listen to me, for every single person.
For everyone. It's a little different for everyone. I'm not saying that I didn't have a choice when I was picking up a bottle, but what I did say is that even though my family comes from they come from that. Yeah, I saw my father drink. I've seen those things. But what I'm saying is that I didn't pick up a bottle because I didn't have a choice. I picked up a bottle from a totally different perspective. I wanted to get rid of something that I could not get rid of. And what I'm saying is that had I knew how to handle the issues, and had I been talked to about certain things in my life, I would probably made a different choice. That's what I'm saying. So
okay, I got you. So you're seeing the issues that lead to the drinking is
Yep.
okay.
That's
the
No,
curse.
listen
That's
to
the
me.
curse itself.
Now, when
It's
you
not the
clarify it like that,
alcohol.
it makes more sense.
Alcohol is temporal. That's something that's used. Alcohol and like weed and drugs is temporal. It's something people use to satisfy
as an outlet
that they don't want to deal with. So it's like a cover up.
Yes.
So the fact that they can't deal with their issues, that's the problem. That's the generational curse. The alcohol is just something they live.
Okay, so all right. Listen, that makes sense to me. Because
Mary
I
be
heard
deep.
was
Mary be deep with
alcohol.
these deep questions. Mary be deep with these comments.
That's good. I mean, that's what the conversation.
It is good, but she make you think. Mary makes you think. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that alcohol
Yes.
so picking up that bottle is a choice. But if you were taught to do things differently, there's a possibility you wouldn't even pick up a bottle.
Right.
Well, I think, okay, like you're saying too, if the generational curse, right, is, like I said, it's whatever you have to confront, then yeah, the bottle is your weapon of choice. It's the wrong one because it as we say, you're trying to put a Band-Aid on it. So those are just, like you said, those are just weapons. Scapegoats. But to what Erica and Mary was saying, like I said, I'm still wrestling with that concept overall, the whole generational curse, because if you say the word, I just look at what people do concerning it or around it. Like this, for example, I know a few years ago, I mean, might be some cats still doing this, but I remember it was a guy on TV, he was praying for people, saying he's going to break generational curses. So, and my first question is, what do you mean? So if you pray for me, you break my generational curse. My grandson, he's done what? What is broken?
Yeah.
Like, that's number one. What are you calling a generational curse? Because it might not be one. It could, like we've been discussing, it could be a thing where, okay, you're just making choices to do things to fight off whatever you're dealing with. And it might be, like I said, it might be the bottle. It might be prescription pills. Like I'm looking more at generational curses not as something that comes on to a person or family, but more or less to, I think what my mom said, it's not literal environment, but it's an environmental thing. And so what families do is, just like down throughout history, say, when you know how a family member moves to a certain place and then that generation, everybody migrates to that same area. That's what we're talking about. The land, as it were, or society is cursed, is fallen because of disobedience. So we decide to move to those areas. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a spiritual or psychological thing. I'm going to move to that area. My family always frequents this place. Now say the name of that place is Anger. We always go to Anger. See, Anger, no, you wasn't like, you give birth to a child and the doctor holding, that baby, he gonna be angry like us. No. But what happens, like you said, when he's coming up, he always sees mom and dad go to Angry.
Yeah.
Or where they going? They going to Angry.
Angry.
So it's not something that's already on him, but we label it that because that's what everybody in your circle's doing. And like you said, that's where the self-esteem, going back to the story about the boy and the mother and all that. Okay, self-esteem is hitting you because in your environment, people are going to the place where your self-esteem gets stripped, wherever that is. It could be in your very home. It could be when somebody comes over. It could be when certain happens, but you instinctively see them go, and then you find yourself, well, I gotta go. Think about it. My self-esteem's low, so let me go to where they strip self-esteem. Like, whoa, you're supposed to be trying to get away from it. So that's how I'm looking. I'm looking at the generational curse more like a conceptual thing. Because like my grandmom used to say, because she used to say stuff to us about drinking. No, you don't drink because y'all got it on both sides. So I really took that as, okay, yeah, a lot of people in my family drink, but I don't want to drink. I don't like to drink. And then I just knew it was a choice. I never thought, I never like slept in my bed and like, oh my God, it's on me. I am going to drink. I never thought that. I just knew, but I didn't know this, like, dag, I'm probably going, you know what I mean? It probably ain't gonna work well for me. That's what I figured. It just ain't gonna work well. But I never took. Now there's other things and it's funny, I think we all wrestle with this a little bit. There's other things where I felt like, dag, man, that's inevitable. But even that's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's a choice, like you said, because my father was a weekend drinker, but he was a steady worker all week long. And on the weekends, he would go out, to the bar and all. And he drank. He had bottles in the house, hidden in different places and all. But I never had a desire to want to do that. I said, I don't want to be like that, And my brothers basically didn't do that. Now, I did have one brother who drank, but I believe that started when he was in college in a fraternity, because he never did it before that, And my father, he said his started when he was in the military. So he didn't pick it up from his father, so it wasn't generational. It was more of a choice or decision. And once you're hooked, it's hard to break away from it, But my desire was like, I don't want to marry a man that drinks. I don't want to marry, I want to marry somebody that's going to be attached to church. That's how I was looking at it. I don't want no drunk.
I know.
And I didn't want to, I was fearful that I might become one of those women that drink and they sloppy drunk and stuff like that. That is the worst thing to see.
Yes.
A drunk woman,
Yes.
Because I've seen those women in my neighborhood.
Yes.
And I said, boy, I never want to be like that. So I was mindful. And then I didn't have space. I didn't have a taste for it.
Yeah.
I tried a little bit of beer, but it's nah.
Listen,
That's sloppy.
I keep, but it's a
drunk.
hot, a woman, a drunk woman. That's a hot.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I've been, listen, that sloppy drunk is where
Okay.
I've been.
It's a
And
hot.
it
It's just horrible. It's just, we just take it to another level. When women do it, it's worse than men.
It's bad.
And you just
It's bad.
and I kid you not, I was, and see, I'm not a drinker. I don't like drinking. I never have, because it just turns people into totally, completely different other people. You don't really- This one, I was out to dinner, someone's birthday. This woman got so drunk that she literally almost flipped the table over. Like,
Oh,
she
wow.
was on one end, we're on the other end. It's a table full of almost 10 people. She leaned, she fell over on the table, lifted the table up. All the dishes and glasses at this restaurant, now we're in a restaurant,
Oh,
all fell on the floor. You heard all this glass break and everything, and she was falling over drunk. And this was a woman dressed up with heels on, makeup, hair done, and girlfriend was just falling over drunk. I was so embarrassed.
it is embarrassing.
I said, never again. You won't catch me. If I even think she going somewhere, I'm not going.
Listen, I've been there, but I mean, like I said, you know, when I wake up,
That bad though.
oh no,
I mean,
I've been
falling
there.
over the table and breaking the
I've
restaurant
been
dishes.
Now I ain't broke the restaurant dishes, but
See?
I've been there. I've been there.
Ooh.
Okay, I've been at the place where like that's sloppy drunk. So
Oh.
I can't basically, you know, I ain't got no comment. I know I've been there. You know, what I'm saying is that I was at a place in my life where it was like, yo, that's what basically kept me from feeling the way that I felt. And if it could be that sloppy drunk, and to take my mind off of all that I was going through, then I took it.
That's exactly what it is.
So
Yeah. So
It's a vice. It's a vice. It's just like gambling.
Yeah.
It's just like gambling, smoking weed, and all sorts of, there's different things, you know, excessive shopping. Some people shop to get rid of their problems, and they excessively shop. They got a house full of stuff. Like you see hoarding, and people hoard and stuff like that. That's where that comes from. And it's always something emotional. If you look at that TV show, it's always some kind of trauma from their past. And they just started shopping and started keeping stuff. And that's all, it's issues. Those are things that just vices. They just do a temporary fix.
Yep.
At that point in time. That's all that is. And that's basically what the generational curse is. It's the not dealing with issues.
The issue is not dealing with what's actually going on with you.
Absolutely.
So you never, so you never deal with the issue, but everybody keeps misidentifying generational curses and calling it other. They're calling it your vices. When it's like, no, the vice is because of what's behind me.
What's behind me. Yep.
Right.
So we never, if like you said, we're gonna call it that monster never gets dealt with. He like, yeah, just let him keep fighting. Like the y'all keep looking for red devils. Stop. He ain't never red.
Never.
But you keep looking for red, and then that's why you know nothing's getting done.
Because like, that's what I was saying. Like, you know, the moment you recognize and you're like, oh wow, I got a problem. I got a serious problem here. And what is it that I'm not addressing? What is it that I'm not dealing with? And the moment I can possibly say, the moment I start talking about my abuse is when I started really dealing with the fact that I didn't really desire to, like, I was drinking still occasionally, but I wasn't doing the crazy drinking. I wasn't doing the, oh my gosh, she's spitting up type drinking. I wasn't doing that. You understand what I'm saying? But I think I've gotten to a place now, like I said, I've gotten to a place now where it's like, I don't even desire it. You know, I don't desire it. I don't desire to have it. When, you know, I'm asked to go out, I'm good. you know? So like I said, I had to get to a place by recognizing what was actually wrong with me and recognizing that I actually had a problem. And it wasn't an alcohol problem. That wasn't my problem. My problem was that I was not addressing the emotional and mental state that I was in on a regular basis of not dealing with abuse. That's what the issue was. So, and until I was able to actually recognize that, that's when I was able to actually say, you know what, I do have a problem. I need to seek help. I do need to basically address what's going on with me mentally and emotionally, because my emotional health has to be more important than anything else. I can't be well physically if I don't address what's going on with me mentally and emotionally. So yeah, and you're gonna do things like get crazy drunk when you're not dealing with the mental and emotional, because you don't care what happens to your body. You don't care what was done to you. You don't care if you make it home safe or not. You don't care about any of those things because you're mentally and emotionally at a place where you're damaged and you need to be fixed. You need to be put back. You understand? Your pieces are broken, and it's not that you can't be put back, because you can. And that's what I had to recognize within myself. Like I said, forgiveness is the main thing. Addressing the fact that I did actually have an issue within myself, and actually and going from there and saying, look, I forgive me, and I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna get some therapy, because
Are
it's
you
nothing
now?
wrong with help. It's nothing wrong with getting counseling. Go ahead.
Not at all.
Are you now problemless?
No, oh, definitely not. I still got all these triggers. Listen, I'm still I got some real serious issues, but not the seriousness of the issues that I used to have. Put it that way. You understand what I'm
It's
saying?
not worth drinking
It's
over.
not worth drinking over. Put it, yes. It ain't worth drinking over. I'd rather say, listen, you know, okay, I have different sources now. I have God. You understand? I have the word. I have family that support me. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have someone that I can call up and say, you know what? I'm really feeling this way. Can you pray for me? You understand what I'm saying? So my sources are different now. And the source that I go to is not the one that I used to go to. So that's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
I look at it like this too, almost like you know, I'm a visual person. So what I do a lot now is almost when I call out what I like, I'll call out the triggers, meaning, oh, I see you hiding, trying to like take me out, trying to be a sniper. And see, before, like you said, for instance, if I don't call you out and I just let you boom, 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 then like you said, then I'm going to the vices. But now, like for instance, like I was driving today, thought came to mind. And so instead of just saying, oh man, that's just like, no, like, whoa, just addressing it and be like, yo, come out of there. Like, yo, like you said, I think especially what's helpful now is to because somebody asked me this the other day, and I you know, y'all probably like, what? Somebody asked me this the other day about being a Christian, and I said yeah, but I don't like that. Sometimes I don't like that term because of like everything that's been done with it. But I said that to say this: sometimes as Christians, once again, what we were seeing directly, and one of the things was, for example, God will heal you and in essence take away all your triggers. But that's, first of all, that's not true, number one, and number two, it's not a thing about that's just not true. While we're in this life, we still are going through, we're still being processed, right? We're still being restored, as it were. But yeah, so I call them out. I call the snipers out. And that's helpful. Because like you said, if you're being honest, because see, then if you're honest, what you'll stop doing too is comparing. Because I used to do that. Well, man, at least I'm not doing this, like, what's his name? But bro, that got nothing to do with your trigger. That your trigger's triggering you. So the fact that someone, quote unquote, might be doing something worse, is that stopping you from being triggered? No. But we have to find, like you said, we got to find a safe spot. So one way is looking at somebody else. Like Latrice, you just said, like, well, listen, I mean, I wasn't sloppy drunk, you know, his name again, sloppy. See, I don't be like that. So, and we find comfort in that because we're trying, that's the other thing too. You not only you go into your vices, but you also realize what the answer is. Comfort, peace, stability. So you know it's not the vice, but you're going there because you're trying to find that refuge, that peace. And it's funny, it's the weirdest thing. Like we talk about drug addicts, but a lot of times we move in the same way.
Yeah.
Because we realize what you're doing, but at the same time, you're I don't want to say controlled, but you're so accustomed. Like going back to Jenny knew she had to get out, but at the same time, I'm used to the craziness in my house. Maybe I could think about this. You start rationalizing. Maybe I could have stayed and helped mom fix stuff. When you know you probably got to go, but so it's that tug, and so it's always that tug. So we you know, it's a constant thing. So you gotta find more. You got to find more outlets. You know, see, some people need more outlets than other people. That's the other thing we got to understand too. Like everybody, like say you got 2 outlets. That's not saying, okay, let me make sure I got 2 or I only need 2. No, you might need 20. Because see, everybody mind, they process things different. Like me, I need a lot because man, so I'm just, listen, I'm doing stuff. Like we were talking about the movies, because I told somebody the other day, I said a lot of times if I'm watching a movie that somebody recommended to me or a show or something, when I start to watch that movie, I got a notepad. What, you doing all that? Like, yeah. Because I said, actually, it's kind of in a sense therapeutic and helpful, because now not only am I looking at the show, but I'm really looking at the show. Let me see what else I can see. What else can I get out of this? Because maybe seeing someone else's issues or problems or drama can give me perspective on how I can combat my thing. Like Erica had brought up Too Close. So I watched that and I had my notebook. I wrote notes on almost every episode, and it was stuff that was going down.
Look at the tree's face.
What's
Too
that?
Close. Too Close it's a little mini series on Netflix.
Remember we talked? Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
It's deep. It's deep.
Yeah. So I was watching it, and so there was a couple of things that happened. The real talk was giving me like insight for my daily living, or how we view things. Because like somebody has said something to somebody else, and I'm like, dang, that is how we view these people. Like I mean, I ain't going into spoilers, but I was like, and so that
don't even worry about it. I'm pulling it up right now. It's
Oh,
on
she
Netflix.
Oh, Mary, don't be.
Is it on Netflix?
You gonna like it,
Yeah.
Mary. You gonna like it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. This one, 30% of my theories were right. I was still bad. It was still bad. but yeah, so yeah, I look at that too. I'm not problemless. The goal is you don't want to still be dealing with the same type of things that have you going left from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You want to see some type of,
And you know what I noticed too? A lot of people stay in the same place and not deal with their issues, or and are not able to break away, from the generational curses. A lot of times it's because of pushback. I say pushback from other people. So you decide that you want to you now everybody else, like you said, we gonna use drinking. Everybody else sitting around there drinking. You decide I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. Everybody starts looking at you side-eyed. Oh, you get new on us. Oh, you acting different. You think you better than we are. And you go through the whole thing. And normally this is family and friends, like people are close to you who put you through all this stuff because you decided this is not something you don't want to do. And a lot of times, instead of people sticking out and fighting it and pushing back and saying, I don't care what you say, I ain't gonna have one, and you're not gonna make me happy. This is not, a lot of people don't want to do that because they don't want to fall out of the grace of their family and their loved ones because they believe that this is all they got and this is all the people that they have and the only loved ones that they have, so they're not going to do it. So people stay in that spot and do the same thing that everybody else is doing just to stay in everybody else's good graces instead of doing what's best for them.
So,
A
okay.
lot of times that's why people stay.
So you're saying
Stay
too,
close.
if it's okay.
Yeah, yup, Mary.
I
Yeah.
watched it.
Yeah.
I knew I had watched it.
Oh, I said too close. Yeah, stay close. Yeah, I said
Take up your cross and follow him. Yeah. A lot of people will not because they don't want the pushback. It's just like, remember in the Bible, Paul, I think, was it Paul, when somebody asked him, yeah, you was walking with Jesus? And Paul said, I don't know him.
That was
Peter.
Peter.
I don't know him. And they asked
Yeah.
me, yes, you, because you sound like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. And he went back. It's because he did not want the pushback because he knew what Jesus was doing, what he was about, and what was going to happen if he had said to them, yes, I do know him, which what's going on? You know what I mean? He knew what was going to happen because he probably would have been crucified as well or killed or whatever have you because.
Jesus knew. He said, but
yeah, Jesus knew. He said, you gonna deny me 3 times before it's over.
And think about it. He's walking into a whole different level. So like you said, his mind was super racing because he's like, wait a minute. First of all, what Jesus said was going to happen, I'm actually doing it. And now these heads about to get at me?
Right,
no.
Absolutely.
So
and
that's
why people do that. That's why people stay where they are. I'm going, smoke this weed because my cousins and my friends is doing it, and I just want to be cool with everybody else. I don't want no backlash or whatever. Because the minute you start to separate yourself from doing what everybody else is doing, that's when the heat comes.
Those are the tangible things.
Yeah, right. Those are the tangible, right.
Just think about the gossiping.
Yeah.
Think about things of that nature.
Yes.
Right.
And that's rough. That is gossiping.
You don't want to take part in it no more. And now you are becoming aware that, you know what, wait a minute, I've been doing this for a minute. And you have family that wants to continue to keep doing it. And you're like, I can't take, you know what I mean?
It's a kind of like a double thing. So you're trying to get out of bad weather, but you got people literally pull, no, stay in this storm. You got to stay in this storm. And then, like you said, you like, all right, man, I'm gonna look bad. They're gonna look at me side eyes if I leave this tornado.
I'm gonna just say a little bit, but not a whole lot.
But see, but you start conforming and compromising. Next thing you know, you just talking right. You used to it, so you just like, yo, this is my plight. No, it don't. That don't have to be your plight, but the pressure. Not only, like I said, the pressure, the weather pressure, the people pressure. And the funny thing is, the scripture says, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities. But so you know about the principalities. And now when these folks trying to wrestle you, you don't need to wrestle with them. And one way not to wrestle with them is not to say, okay, I conform and I agree with you. No, I got to be out. I love y'all.
Yeah.
Pete, right, deuces. Because guess what? And if you're going to hate me, then what's the difference? Them hating you in the storm or hating you outside the storm? Please, listen, you're going to hate me regardless, so let me be out the storm. Because you're going to hate me regardless.
I hate me regardless, so hey, you might as well hate me.
I might as well go on and do what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to appease you and you still dogging me out and I decided to stay in the storm with you.
But a lot of folks will conform because they are in fear of that. And
Yeah.
they are in fear of that
Yes.
because they don't know who they are and who they come from. And
Well-
why they're in fear of that because they have
Erica,
no idea.
I will say this because we're talking about, see, man, I got to really study this, but if I'm just going to go with this concept again of generational curses.
Mhm.
A generational curse is fear.
Mhm.
That lays over the land.
Man.
But the scripture says we're not given a spirit of fear. So once again, it's this thing, and you got a choice. You don't have to, but fear is easier.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
It's real easy.
It's easier to conform to something as opposed to actually working at it. It's easier to do it that way because
it's
if
real easy.
I conform to it, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to get no pressure. Just like it's easier to be passive than to actually try to false evidence appearing real. Yeah. Than to try to contest whether or not you believe in fighting for something that's right. You understand what I'm saying?
Conformity is a cushion. It means you don't have to take accountability for what
Yeah,
you do.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because the answer to it is, well, everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. Don't conform.
Don't
Transform.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
you go.
Yes.
I like that. Don't conform, transform.
Because transform is changing. Conform is, well, like you said, I'm a stand pat. Let's hey, like you said, this is what we've always done. See, and that's you know what? That's a big weapon against you. Because you on your way out like this, and they're like, we've always done it. You like, that's right. We've always done this, and that's so true. And if I do it, they're gonna think something's wrong with me. They already think something's wrong with you.
Right.
See, I had to learn it. I'm like, I already know they think something's wrong with me, so I might just keep going forward anyway.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
and the thing about it is like that, like Jesus said, please, Father, forgive them because they know not what they do. That's the truth because you are dealing with the spirit behind somebody, not the actual person.
Yeah.
So the spirit works through people to have them do this, to say certain things to you, to appeal to certain things in you, so you stay where you are.
Didn't we just talk about this last night?
good point.
So that's why you gotta look at them and say, you sweet and everything. You know what I mean? I love you to death. But no, I'm going over here.
You hear
we still gonna talk and everything, but no.
Right.
I'm not, and you will fight with that. It'll be an ongoing fight. That never goes away.
Yeah, so
you get the comments every time you're around, you get the comments, little smart remarks and stuff like that. And you just look at them and say, you sweet and everything. Smooches, love you.
I love you.
Okay. And I'm out. I've been here 35 minutes too long.
So what you said too about Peter, the other example is Jesus, when Peter said, when Jesus said he had to go to the cross, Peter said, no, I'm not going to let it happen. He said, get behind me, Satan. So to what you said, he wasn't calling Peter Satan.
No, he wasn't.
He's making reference to that wording, that type of wording, that's hate speech. You against me. You're speaking the language of, I'm gonna block you, Lord. I'm gonna block you. No, that's Satan talk. So, like you said,
Jesus already knew what his job was and what he came here to do. That's why he said, I'm on my way to the cross because I'm about my Father's business. I ain't got time to be messing with y'all. This is why I came here. My time is over. It's time for me to go.
Right.
You're not going to destroy this here. Back up off. Okay. So Satan just used Peter to stop him. He was trying to use Peter to stop him because he knew it was going to happen.
So remember when we were talking about the lesson last night with Bildad addressing Job's suffering.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Bildad, his friends, the way that his friends addressed his suffering, it was basically they addressed it in a way that they were not wrong in a sense, but they were not right because they were uncomforting, unempathetic, and not actually consoling. They just was doing it from what they thought that, okay, this is the right concept, because God would not do anything. You know, if you're not doing anything wrong, he wouldn't punish you, you know, so.
Well, yeah, and we were just talking about it too. Like if you, like for instance, I'm gonna use my family example. Like one of my cousins, you know, sometimes if we like, saw him like drunk, man, passed out. Most times what people would say was, well, you knew his daddy was drunk. So you wait a minute. What's that got to do with him? He grown. He's grown. His kids trying to wake him up. And you talking about, well, you know, his daddy was drunk, but that's the assumption. The assumption is, well, in a sense, Leroy ain't had no choice. You know, his daddy, but that's.
Yes, Leroy did. When you get to a certain point in your life and certain age, you know whether or not something is good for you, you should be doing it. People always want to blame somebody else, but
wait a minute,
that they made.
And think about this. How do you?
Leroy's problem.
How do you? Yeah, it's always Leroy. But even if you think about it logically, so I can go to McDonald's and make a choice of what number I want. But when it comes to going to the liquor store, well, that's because of daddy. Well, wait a minute. What's McDonald's because of who?
Because let me tell you something. You can go. Let's guess what? The dopamine that come from that crack is similar to with the food that you're putting in your body. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that, you know, we can take in consideration, because we'll go out here and talk about, oh my God, that person was out here on them drugs, but we addicted to the food that you eat. So I mean, it all depends on, it's just how you look at it.
Yeah, it amazes me. It amazes me the excuses we human beings be sitting up there talking, and you just be like, I know you just didn't. It makes you tired. You be tired. You be tired by the time you get finished. Still, but you just be like, you just told me that you just went down the street. I had somebody, you know, you spent too much money on that, right? Okay, I spent my money to get my car fixed. Something I gotta get in and drive.
Wait a minute, I come from the.
But you gonna tell me, and you take your money and you gamble. So what you want? I mean, how you gonna tell me what to do with my money and you over here just putting yours in the machine and ain't gonna get it back?
But wait, I come from the family where you better not walk past the black cat.
Yeah, black cat.
And I got
it's bad luck.
Listen, I got a black cat. I said, who told you not to walk past the black cat?
A black cat.
And who told you
we believe it. Don't break the mirror. 7 years bad luck.
Wait a minute. Who told you to throw the salt over the shoulder?
Oh, over there. Is it the left or the right?
I don't know which one it is.
And listen, that's too convenient, because if you break, like say you break a mirror and then within 7 years,
you got bad luck.
Something happens to you because I don't know, life. Like you trip, you fell off the monkey bars at the park. Man, that's because that mirror. No, it's because you fell off the monkey bars, man.
I know, but you know what? Then somebody, if something happened to you, you get 7 years of bad luck, right? All this stuff happened within 7 years. Then somebody else gonna take that and they gonna tell their kids.
And they gonna tell their kids,
don't do it right. Yeah, watch what you doing with that mirror.
Don't you sweep my foot. I'm gonna have to spit on that broom.
And remember, you couldn't split the pole. Two of you was walking, y'all can't split the pole, because if I was like, y'all
see, that's the thing. We, like you said, we spend so much time, like you said, talking about broken mirror and black cat, but then you missing like, no, the actual enemies.
Right.
The ones that's actually around. I'm like, no, listen, they're meat puppets, the little that stuff, that's a sideshow. There are really because Latrice asked me a question the other day about in Job when the passage says broke all mama's back. yeah, that crap. Yeah. But Latrice was asking me about the terminology sons of God. So when we hear it, we just generally think, oh, righteous. But no, sons of God are anyone that God created. So
Mhm.
Lucifer, from that standpoint, is a son of God.
Mhm.
So, you know, so we're dealing with fallen sons of God.
Mhm.
And you know, you want to talk about a black cat crossing your path
Mhm.
when you got a fallen son
Uh-huh.
trying to take you out.
Right.
Listen,
Right.
I will walk in front of 20 black cats
I know
if
that's
I ain't got to
right.
contend with the stuff that I now
I know
know.
that's right. I'll pick one up and pet it.
Listen,
before I deal with that over there.
be like Gargamel.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because the thing about it is that dogs and cats are closer to God than human beings.
Hello?
Okay.
Who
They,
said
they're more close, they're close to that. They
Everything-
show more compassion than human beings do.
everything that God created has a what?
It's the truth, yeah.
Don't we all have spirit?
That's it. Well, that sounds like an indictment, man. Oh, listen, I pray, I hope to God I gotta be more passionate than a dog, man.
No, I'm telling you, dog. But if you notice, you can sit there and a dog will give you all his love and all that stuff. You can even treat a dog bad for a long time, and the dog still will come, and they will still come when you call them. They will still lick your face. They will still all of that.
The
All
dog
Listen,
from
Jenny-
Stockholm syndrome too.
Jenny's,
Say again?
yeah, Mary. I was going to say, Mary. I was getting ready to.
What?
Say.
I missed it. What happened? Stop.
I said
What Mary
the dog suffering from Stockholm syndrome too.
Oh no, she.
Listen, I was going to say that. I was going to say something like that, but then I was going to say, well, what about Jenny's mom and Tall Man? Listen. Anything can happen to her. She like, listen, I'm here. I gotta get ready for work. Come back with my man. Like, come on now. Rise above that.
Mom was gone. She was gone. She
was gone.
Her mind was just, that's it. She's so
But
used to that behavior.
That's the thing. Your most powerful weapon, your mind, man. Once again, we worried about everything else. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. Obviously, you should worry about how you look, how you feel, all that. Yes. But we put more stock in that than, like you said, how are you stewarding your mind? That's what gets attacked.
Go ahead, Mary.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. So last night I wanted to get on with y'all too, but I was in a very heated conversation with a friend. So, and I'm gonna make it short. It's very long, but I'm gonna shorten it. Okay. So she has breast cancer.
Okay.
So, you know, trying to be a friend. She had surgery yesterday. She had her breast removed yesterday. So last Thursday, I'm talking to her. I'm like, okay, do you have somebody? She has a 9-year-old. Or all the other kids, they're like 15, 19, and 25. So I'm like, okay, do you have somebody to take Lauren to school? Do you have somebody to pick her up? Like, I'm just asking her questions, right? That I feel like a friend would ask in case you need help. Listen, did you get food? Like, is Josh going to need a ride to the grocery store? She calls me that night after I got home. And she says, you know, the tone of your conversation triggered me. So I was like, well, what did I say? See Erica's face? That's exactly how I felt. What did I say? She goes, I'm just going to flat out ask you, are you planning to call DIFUS on me?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
No, but how did we get here?
Right. Oh,
So
wow.
I hung up with her and I didn't speak to her for 2 days. Like when I tell y'all, so the conversation went on, but like I said, I'm trying to keep it short. She's like, I know that's what you do. You're a social worker. That's what y'all do. Y'all want people to conform to government standards. The Black family always took care of her stuff. She goes on this rant.
Oh, wow.
Maybe maybe she's just triggered by something.
Well, no, but she told me something happened some years, you know, previous. We had lost contact, whatever. She was in a hospital. They were saying her mom was too old to care for her oldest daughter.
Okay.
So apparently DCPNP was going to try to come and get that kid. She signed herself out of the hospital, staples and all. So she goes through the whole thing. So now in my mind, I'm like, I get it, right? This girl's scared about the surgery. She don't know what's going to happen. She has that happen to her before. But then, there was another part of me that was like, are we really friends? Because you don't even know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I'm not a social worker. I don't call people to come and get somebody's kids. So fast forward to last night.
Wow.
Trey, you said the mental. And so I finally answered for her. She's like, no, I texted her yesterday morning. I said, listen, I hope everything goes well with your surgery. I'm going to be praying for you. You know what I mean? So one of the kids to text me when you're out of surgery. She finally called me like 7:30 last night. And so she goes right into it. Are you ducking me? Like you putting me on a back burner? That was the first question. And I said, you know what? I am. Because I'm trying to be understanding. I know that you got issues. We've talked about some of the things that you've been through, but you don't now have the right to try to push me to have conversation with you.
Yeah.
I'm not in the headspace for that. Because had I responded to you, we probably would have never spoken again. I was offended and I was disappointed. I said, so now what you need to understand is I need to do what I need to do to protect me and my peace at all costs. And that conversation rattled me. It really did, because all the things you could think of me. I'm asking you how your daughter's going to get to school. I volunteered to take your daughter to school. And you, for whatever you went through before, you can't see past that. So now, again, I'm going to fast forward. I had to say to her about 8 times before I finally hung up. It's my job to protect me. I get it. You're seeing whatever I said, the questions I was asking you for your well-being triggered you. You need to understand that it's okay to be triggered. She's like, oh, that's a counseling word. You don't get it. Listen, don't try to insult me. But just because you're triggered does not give you the right to treat other people bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they told you in counseling, the way to say that was to say, Mary, when you said X, Y, and Z, I felt.
Yeah.
You don't get to attack me. And so now, because I want to protect my peace and basically my mental space, my emotional well-being, here you are on my phone trying to dump it on me like I've done something wrong to you. So I say that to say, when we speak generational curses, her mom is schizophrenic bipolar. She has a brother who's schizophrenic bipolar. She has a lot of those tendencies. She has not been diagnosed as such, but she has the tendencies. So it's the controlling, right? It's me saying, how was your day? And it turns into some maniacal rant. And so for her, all that's normal.
Yeah.
Because even when we talk about it, she's, it's like, well, what would you have me do? What am I supposed to do? My son is too big to beat. Ma'am, your son's only 15. He calls you Faith. He comes in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why you don't understand that that's not normal. These kids are trying to escape from under your control. But again, that was how she was raised. That's that mom was very, very controlling. I remember us being 16 and her mom walked the mall with us. So when you say protecting your mind, Trey, I look at my phone now when she calls and I'm just like, not today.
Right.
Not right now.
Not ever.
How about that?
Right.
You want that
However,
running.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like I would be abandoning her while she's going through this whole cancer thing.
I mean, that's a like you said, a lot of these things are like just gray areas, man. We're trying to figure out how to deal with others in certain situations. But like you said, I want to keep my mind optimal. And then, like you said, with your friend, I'm looking at what Erica put down in here about fear, false evidence appearing real. So you look like a threat to her for whatever reason.
Amazing.
You look like a threat. And she was like, yo, Mary coming at my neck. I got an attack. And so even though that was not true, but it appeared to be true.
Yeah.
To her, at least.
That comes from her past. That's like you said, that happened in her past, and now she's throwing all of it on you, all because she is not dealing with her issue. She hasn't dealt with it. And when you don't, it keeps showing up at the most unopportune time when folks are trying to do their best to love and help you in any sense of the word, and you toss them to the side because them issues, if she don't deal with that, she gonna do that to everybody who's trying to help her, and she gonna find herself alone if she don't deal with it.
Yeah.
That's all that is. And Mary, you did absolutely right. It's not, feeling like abandoning her, that's natural. That's natural for anybody to feel that way, because especially if she's going through cancer treatment, you want none of your friends hanging out there like that if you know you can help them. But at the same time, you told her, right, I got to protect myself. Now, I'm willing to help you, but you're not gonna browbeat me. You're not gonna beat me down like I've done something wrong to you, because I haven't.
Just keep her in prayer, Mary, because
Keep her in prayer, right?
You know the meds be messing with your mind.
Yeah.
Medications be doing something.
Yeah.
Well, no, all that happened before, and then we had a conversation last night. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I just I know that when we talk generational curse, like I know a lot of what has happened
Okay.
in that particular family. You know what I'm saying? I know that and I think that's my thing with like pushing her away. She already has abandonment issues.
Right.
Okay. That's what we talking
And
about.
and so I feel like that is why she does the lashing out. Cause it's like, when are you gonna walk away? I might as well just push you away instead of just waiting to wake up one day and you're not there. But I think Erica was saying it about, the grandfather moving away, starting another family. Like that's almost this girl's story.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2 weeks we talking about abandonment issues.
Oh, are we?
Well, girl, I wrote a book about it. Want to hear it? Here we go. No, I'm playing.
Yes. No, she didn't. That's deep though. Abandonment is really deep.
Is really deep.
It's really deep. That was one of my issues that I had to fight through. Yeah. That's abandonment, and it can take a long time to deal with. It takes a long time.
See, right. Wow. And then the polar opposite of that is someone who's just a loner.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to get them in the fold and they don't want. So yeah, people either dealing on some level of abandonment or they're dealing with, isolation. Neither one is
healthy.
Neither one is healthy, right?
Yeah. But I think people look more like they worry more about abandonment, because see, isolation appears as if you're good because I'm self-sufficient, but no, you are actually, it's a level of abandonment too. Like you're abandoning others. Someone didn't leave you, you're leaving people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You actually don't even allow yourself to get close enough to people.
No.
For them to walk away or for you to walk away from them.
Like I'm out. Yep. And that's because of, like you said, some experience of things that's happened before. So you're like, no, not again. I'm not even gonna let you get close.
No.
I know you lying. I'm like, whoa, I'm not lying. Yes, the previous.
That's not dealing. That people don't deal with their issues. When you don't deal with the issue, then you think everybody gonna wrong you. And you gotta put the cards. I told somebody, I was telling my cousin this. I said, listen, man, the next serious, and if I know it's a serious relationship, listen, when we talk, I'll listen, cards on tables, man. We putting cards on tables. Ain't no way going no relationship and then acting like everything is one thing. It's not like, no, it's too late in the game for that. Cards on table. Yeah.
And so this is how sometimes, so if you see me acting like this, remind me or whatever, just talk it through, whatever. No need, everybody, this ain't a movie, man. Everybody acting like, everybody got a little Cinderella story. Nah.
Or all the problems gonna be solved in 30 minutes, like the Cosby Show.
30 minutes.
Yes, 30.
Telling you. Like, no.
Cosby's did it. Okay.
Yeah, he wrapped it up quick.
They wrapped it up quick, fast, in a hurry.
Thanks, Dad.
And that
Like,
issue,
okay.
all the issues gone in that 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So we
Okay.
all looked up to the Cosby's and was like, yeah, you know what? We got these issues. We're gonna wrap these things up.
And that,
That's
listen,
it.
we tried to wrap them up in 30, in our own life, tried to wrap it in 30 minutes.
20 years later.
You got to deal with stuff, because if you let stuff fester and linger on, it's just gonna wrap your whole life up in nonsense.
Listen, it's
it's
going to have
like-
you in the choke.
In the choke,
Listen,
yeah.
when COVID dropped, some stuff that people hadn't, I confess. there was
Trey,
some
when
stuff I
COVID
had
dropped,
dealt with.
so did the marriage rate.
Yeah, it sure did. It sure did. People was, and you had domestic violence was on the rise. People figured out, oh my God, I hate this person. They got to go. They got to,
You know why? Because people were actually being exposed to
yes,
not just themselves,
yes.
not just themselves. Because you know why? Because we
Yeah.
always working. We really
Yep.
don't have time to actually get to know the person that you with.
Absolutely. You got two ships passing in the night. One, I'm out this door in the morning. Bye, love you. And y'all out the door, y'all come back, y'all busy, y'all got kids and everything else. Y'all had to be up in that house together.
Listen,
And y'all looking at each other like, say that again so I can smack you.
I thought you loved me.
Absolutely.
say it
People
again. Say it again. We fighting.
say domestic
Listen, that's what I said.
women was getting their behinds beat.
Who? Men was getting
Women,
their
domestic
behind. Men was getting their
yeah,
behind.
men was getting their behind beat too.
It was. They was
Yup.
probably getting beat before too.
It's a hot mess because people, like I said, they didn't take time to get to know one another really. And a lot of times people don't even know what that looks like. Folks don't know what they should be looking for. They don't know who their partner, they don't know what kind of partner they should be looking for. None of that stuff.
Sometimes we don't even know who we are.
Right. And that's the problem. Because if you don't know who you are, how you gonna get a partner? How you
And listen, now we wake up and then we all stuck in the house.
yeah,
together.
yeah.
But
And you
listen,
Yeah.
real talk. Now I'm not married, but I'm taking this guess. You won't find out about other aspects of you until you are in a relationship, because there's no other way.
Yeah.
Because that person is going to bring it out. You can't bring whatever that is out yourself, but that person is, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
But either way, you're going to deal with it.
And you still grow. You grow every day.
Found out
So as if you're growing every day, like you said, ain't nobody gonna see that until the days start to go along. And you other than that, yeah, it's your but.
you find out a whole lot.
But there are some red flags if somebody ain't right that you need to be paying attention to before you do that. You'll see some red flags that they crazy.
I think it's red flags with everybody, including ourselves.
Yeah, but I'm talking about deep. I'm talking about the deep red flags
Right.
where,
I mean,
they've been a your butt off the balcony.
listen, I ain't walking away from myself if I know I got red flag, but I ain't going.
But now I'm talking about you know the flags I'm talking about, them ones.
Right.
Okay. All of a sudden, wait a minute, like the Exorcist, the head just spin around and green stuff start. Okay.
Oh, you like, oh, they just a little sick. They all right.
Let me just put some oil on their head.
They got a little cold. That's okay.
Listen, we be lying like a mug. Like,
Yeah.
They just gotta
Those people found out that their spouses and or girlfriends or husbands or whatever was not what they was. But not what they wanted. They said, "Oh,
Yeah, especially if they got it and had to be quarantined.
yes." Can you imagine? You in the house.
All that I'll die for you went right out the window.
Yes. I can't. When they said that rate went up, I said, "Are you serious?" They said those hotlines was ringing off the hook. People was in there getting beat.
My husband found out I was crazy.
Okay, I'm telling you.
He said, "No, listen." I asked my husband something the other day. I said, "Well, why you marry me?" He said, "I married Latrice." He said, "Now, Chingy," he said, "I don't want her."
she part of the package.
I said, well, she
Alter
come-
ego. Alter
come with it. Package. I'm sorry. He said, now Latrice is, I love her. You know, I'm married and she's everything, my world. He said that Chingy is crazy.
That means she needs to be out the door. We need to get rid of her. Chingy got to. She got to go.
Chingy is,
Chingy got to go.
I don't want her. He said, please leave her where she at.
Leave her where she at. She got to go. We can't deal with her no more.
No. But yeah, no, for real. It's just like, but you know what? The pandemic helped us to realize so many things. Not just like
About
I said,
ourselves, absolutely.
about ourselves and about, you know, what we value just as a family.
Yeah.
You know, the time that we have here, you know, just being able to spend family and some of the things that, you know, we go through and realizing some of the issues that we actually have, so that those things could actually be addressed. And like I said, you know, a lot of things were up and rising, whether or not it was food, whether or not it was mental, emotional, whether or not it was you know, abuse, whatever it was, but everybody were going through something different. And it was a time in our lives that we start to really figure out, like, you know what, really, what's going on here? Like, what am I doing? Who am
Right.
I?
We needed to see it. We needed to see.
It needed to be seen. It needed to be
It's almost like a purging
yeah.
type of thing. Like I said, I saw things, I was like, dang, man, but it, you know, obviously the people dying is you know, I'm not like, you know,
Upright, your cleansing.
yeah, but because of this situation, yeah, there were certain perspectives I had on life that shifted, and they needed to shift. You know, and maybe because, like you said, we were relaxed, we were comfortable, we were conforming. But now with this, all of a sudden, you know, you're alert, like, oh, but that's, I used to always think about that, like at work, man, whenever my boss got, you know, some people, if their boss gets on them, they get funky. Now I would get funky, but I would get focused because it's just like, yo, man, you just made me mad. But now I'm like, no, all right, no, I'm doing this right. I'm gonna get this done. So you know, it's all about how you view things. So when it's like that, yeah, I just get focused. I'm like, no, I don't like the fact that you just yelled at me, but man, you
Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Yeah, don't listen.
Yeah, right.
Don't do it again. It helped me.
Don't raise your voice.
You know, I got them new knives.
I am grown, so check yourself.
Wait a minute. You know, I got the new set of knives, right?
Right. Okay. Right.
Knives out.
Check yourself.
Knives out.
I respect what you said, but don't raise your voice again.
Listen, I'm good. Actually, I'm good with that. If you curse at me, oh, that's it, man. I can't take, especially whatever. Like when a man that curses at me, I'm like, bro, you better change that tune. I don't know, something about that. You don't do that.
Yeah, when somebody curses, you just be like,
don't do that.
No, I don't like nobody. Listen, I don't curse myself.
me
Not
either.
like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I do like once a year.
Once
I
a
don't
year.
do it at all.
But now it's like, don't you? Yeah, you ain't gotta do that.
If you elevate your voice just a little bit, I'll look at you real funny, and I'll just be like, I won't say anything. I just looking like, did he just raise your voice? Did he just... You know how you talk to yourself, and my head to go to the side, like, and I turn back and say,
I'm boiling some tea. You want some?
Right, you want some? Be careful. Be careful. I don't know if you want it.
Bring you some hot water.
But the only thing about that is like about like what the pandemic brought out and issues and stuff like that. You know, some people remain the same. Ain't nothing.
Oh, that's a result that happens too.
But you know what? And I was just thinking about that. I said, it's sad. If you can not see somebody, let's say for like 5 to 10 years, and when you finally see them, they the same way, you just be like, 5 years and you ain't do nothing in 5 years.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe in them 5 years they might have did
Oh,
something.
good night, Mary.
Yeah. Good night, Mary.
I
Good
mean,
night,
you
y'all.
mean to tell me, like, even through this pandemic, 5
Right.
years, you have not had any kind of revelation about yourself and stuff you need to check, nothing? That's scary. That is scary, because as human beings, we were created to grow and evolve.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means you sitting here and nothing at all? That's scary, especially when you get like when you start to get of an older age, and you're just like, nothing.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. One thing about us is that, girl, you can be on your deathbed and evolve
Yeah,
overnight.
yeah.
So it's just so crazy how everything happens. It's so crazy, but it's crazy how, even what we was talking about last night, it's like a mystery how God moves and how he does things. Like, he doesn't tell us exactly what he's doing. And because our process and our step is to constantly learn, he actually puts us in the same situations until we actually
Over and over again. That's why I'm like, how can you not? Do you realize you in the same place? You didn't pick that up yet.
Some people actually think they like, I used to do this sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I thought I did it different, but then I realized, Trey, you didn't. And so,
but see, you come to that realization. You and the trees, y'all come to that realization. You got people who sit there and don't get it. You just be sitting there like, what?
Well, that's just
what?
So listen, Erica, that's just one thing that we're working on. Listen, I've realized now that I'm crazy, but back then, I just was like, no, ain't nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you?
No, but you realize now, see, after a certain time, you realize.
You're right.
You got some people out here who have not, it's been 5, 10, 15 years, and they still, and I'm like, how does because like I said, each day we change, each day our mind clicks on to something that says, okay, I got it.
Yeah, it was the pandemic that helped me.
And and because we were meant to do that. Each day we were meant to learn something new and have some kind of revelation of something different. That's how we grow. How do you go? Now, this is happening every day. How do you go 5 and 10 and 15 years and not? Now, I understand sometimes it could be your the environment that you're in. It could be the environment that you're in. That's a possibility. But I just, it scares me. It really scares, and the thing about it scares me, and I'm afraid for the next generation, because if you got people who are here now who are not changing and evolving and learning anything, who are they gonna teach? What are they gonna teach?
Listen, Erica, they replacing us with robots, so they don't need.
Well, you know what? The robots might be better. It's just
they don't need us.
But it ain't looking too good. We not looking too good. If you look at some of the stuff that some of our leaders are doing, you just be like, are you sick? These kids don't have any examples at all. It's hard. It's very few examples.
Insurrection in the White House.
The problem too, to what Erica said, especially like with the not changing, especially when you're on a level confronted with it. Because I think that's usually when you evolve with something, because you've been on some level, you've been confronted. So for those who don't do it even after the confrontation,
because God, he places you.
That's stubborn. That's
right.
Ego.
That is ego. That is ego.
And when your ego comes in, we got to talk about that too.
Ego, yes, ego is very important.
I'm telling you, the ego, is
will stop you from doing it. It will halt your life to no, not ever.
Yes.
You be stuck in the same place. It's the truth. You be stuck in the same place. You let your ego will get you in trouble.
Because our ego and guess what? When we have this feeling of entitlement.
Yes. That's another one we need to talk about,
entitlement.
Where does it come? Where does it come from?
Well, where do you find? No, you know what? I'll give you an example. I didn't know I had a level of it, and I didn't know I had it, and it was brought up to me, right? And so it works like this. Like most of the most of the time when I was in relationships, we just talking about like generational curse. For whatever reason, I was always talking to women who were like, whatever. Listen, whatever you want to do, Trey, whatever you want to do. So there was never, I was never challenged. But then I was in a relationship where it was different. I was challenged. It was like first time ever. And I'm trying to figure out why I got these like weird feelings, but it's because I'm being confronted. And so I realized within it, like, yo, Trey, you have this like entitlement. You think however you feel should supersede whatever she feels, no matter what it is at the end of it. You can talk about it, but at the end of it, however you feel should rule. But I got confronted and so I was like, oh, wow, what is this? And so I had learned from that. And I realized like, Trey, you don't like, one thing was like, you don't listen. Yeah, you're waiting for them to finish talking so then you could get your point.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. And then the one thing that was really crazy, she kept saying to me, I need you to be here with me. And I'm like a caveman. I'm like, what is she talking about? I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. And not until like the 80th time she said it. Oh. And this was after we broke up. So it was funny. The relationship, we broke up, but I learned like some good fundamental, which is weird. Yeah. Usually people, when you break up, you just, and I was like, I was like in deep thinking for like 2 years, like, wow. So like to what you said, when you see that, you got to recognize it and you got to be honest about it.
And see, that's the thing. A lot of us don't want to be honest about our shortcomings.
That's right.
But you know what? Well, you don't, that's like a self-esteem issue though.
That's a part of your shame.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's part of shame. So you don't want to recognize.
I already feel bad about myself. Now I'm gonna add something else. And
then what I'm gonna do is put other people down because of how I feel about me.
That's where that comes from. That's what, who was I just telling about? I said, when people call you, let's say somebody call, you know how kids call each other out of their name when they in school, or you dumb or whatever. When adults do that, they call you out, they want to call you a B and this, that, and the other. That's self-talk. That's how they talk to themselves. That is not you. They're just putting it out there in the air to you, but it's not what they think about you. It's what they think about themselves. It don't have nothing to do with you.
Interesting.
That's why, and it's amazing. I said it's amazing that you really shouldn't get, if you know who you are, you ain't gonna get upset. You ain't gonna get upset. You just gonna look at them and say, you know what, that's a shame. But sometimes you need to turn it back, because I listen to, y'all know Essence? She played on that TV show called Sister Sister.
Essence?
It was Essence. No, it was half. Her name is Essence. She's an actress, and she's played in a lot of like African American movies. What's her last name? Her name is Essence. Let me see. She did. I watched an interview she did with somebody. Essence actress.
Oh, Esther.
No, Essence Atkins. She played in a TV show called,
I've heard that name.
Oh, Half and Half, where she had the half sister. And she played in Are We There Yet?
Yeah.
Essence. She's very profound. I watch her. She speaks very well. And she mentioned that she said that she has a best friend. She went over to visit her, and her best friend has a son. And she said she was just yelling at the child, just talking down to him and treating him all kinds of ways. And she said she just shook her head and looked at her and said, you know, that really is a shame, because I know that is exactly how you talk to yourself in your head. And she said her girlfriend broke down in tears. That's self-talk. When people constantly want to down you and talk bad about you and call you names and stuff, that's how they feel about them. That's not you. That's self-talk. They're just spitting it out. You know what I mean? So that it has nothing to do with that self-talk. People talk to themselves like that all the time, and then it's just vocal. They vocalize it by throwing it out at you.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's an issue. That's why you look at people and you gotta have some. It takes a lot to have empathy in that sense, because your ego is attacked. Now you looking at them like, did you just call me out my name?
Yeah.
And it's hard to suppress your ego in that manner when somebody you feel attacked. Your person feels attacked. You got to be a good person to be able to call that ego back and not smack them and say, okay, I know that they're hurting. You know what I mean? They're in a lot of pain.
I don't think I'm there yet, because
I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. I walk away. I told them,
I don't walk away.
I'm gonna be transparent, y'all. This was a few years ago at my current job position, and this girl, I told her I just tried to let her know, get out of my, please just leave me alone. And she said something, and I said, I hope you trip in a puddle of water and drown. And I meant it.
In a puddle of water. You said a puddle
but
of water.
and I meant it. But see, I meant it though. And she looked at me with such hurt on her face. I hurt her feelings. And this is a grown woman. And I felt so bad. I went home and I said, Erica, I said, you in your mouth. And you don't realize what's in you until it comes out. I didn't even know that was coming out. It just came out. It just came. That's why, I think that's why God said, I don't say nothing. Like a lot of times people have done stuff and I would have just and I just look at him and he just say, no. And so what do? I take a walk and I take some deep breaths. And I talked to God. One time it got so bad, I jumped up out my seat. I went downstairs and I even tried to call my mother to talk to her on the phone. And my phone wouldn't work. And I said, okay. I said, okay, God, this is you telling me talk to you. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's because the phone kept looking at it and it would never go through. And I tried 3 times. I said, I went, stood by a window. I said, I put my head down. I said, okay, Jesus, tell me what I need to do. And I kept rubbing my head. And I said, because I don't know how to handle this. This is not working for me. This is not working for me. And I just took some deep breaths and I stayed down there for 30 minutes and went back upstairs. And he said, you gonna calm down.
Erica, you good.
You're gonna sit at your desk and you're gonna do your work and you're gonna go home. And he said, when you come in tomorrow,
deep breaths.
But I'm telling you, and it's just, and I said, and then the next, something else happened. The girl kept putting her hand in my face, and I had to hold her hand because I swear she won't accidentally hit me. And I said, if she accidentally hit me, I said, reflex, I probably slap her. I probably slap her hard too. So I stopped her and I said, I'm not gonna play this game with you. I had to go in and talk to my manager and close the door. I said, because if I don't come in this office, it's gonna be a fight. So he told me how to, but see, God sent me in there. He said, go talk to your manager and ask him what you should do. So I talked to her in the conference room in between closed doors. And I said, have a seat. She looked at me, she said, I don't want to. Like she was afraid. And I said, all this hand in my face and all this planners. I said, no, we can't do that no more. We can't do it. And I ain't had no problem out of sense, but I'm telling you, it's the ego it's hard to suppress that. When somebody is attacking your person,
yes,
it's hard to hard to stop and put that on hold and say, I know this is coming from a place of pain because this is not normal behavior. So they got something going on. It's hard to treat, honey, when I tell you.
Listen,
I know it's hard.
My ego come out. It's fine.
Yeah, I know it. It's just you be sitting up there like,
I'm like, what?
Ooh. That's why when I watch Ayala Van Zandt and I look at her, and some of the times some people on there would say some of that stuff, I just be, and she would have a smile on her face, like and she would say, thank you for being honest. Thank you for voicing it. This one girl called her and looked like an old ugly behind dude and all.
Turn into the exorcist.
Call her all. I know Latrice said, okay, green stuff be flying, Latrice, and you just neck be turning. Like what?
I'd be like, what?
With the deep voice and everything. But you got to get to that's the only way we gonna help our folks. We got to get to our own place of peace and
Yeah,
be
you gotta be able to control.
I'm not saying that you put up with nonsense. Yeah, you gotta. It's hard
It's not
though.
controlling nobody else. It's about controlling
Yourself. Right, absolutely.
Because people are going to say what they want. People are going to even do what they want. People
Right,
are going to
absolutely.
hurt you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to do all of these things, but you still got to be able to control your own emotions.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's hard.
Their emotions to control them. That's
right, absolutely.
You don't want the emotions to control you, and that's why it's something that we work on every single day. But some people
you got to
are better than others.
You're right.
Some people are much better than others because,
right.
like I said, I can get to a place where I'll be like, an exorcist just come out, you be like, I didn't even know she had that in her.
But now you know. See, you shouldn't have pushed me that far when I had to come out.
Don't push me that far. So, but at the same time, I just have to take a step back and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow you to take me there. Not today.
And that's and people do that on purpose. They try to push your butt.
It's not people, it's the adversary.
Well, it's the adversary, and that's why, it's the adversary, and that's why you gotta remember that. But in the heat of the moment, sometimes you forget that. You forget it in the heat of the moment. You say all you see is the person standing in front of you. You say, please don't make me so happy.
Well, I mean, it's both, but you fight both of them differently.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Like I'm not praying for a principality.
Yeah.
You don't need prayer, but I pray for the person who's coming at me, and I have to do what I have to do. See, some things, like you said, if we talking about patterns too, and you know how your day might go, man, sometimes I'm praying about something that might not happen, but I'm like, it's a good chance it could. Yeah. So let me get fortified now so that, like, just say, okay, I don't do it perfectly. It's better than what it would have been if I just went in blind and like, oh man, they snuck me. No, I knew they were going to throw it. I just still got to deal with them coming at me. But at least the blow is not as significant because I knew they was going to get on my nerves. I knew it. So when I got up and I prayed, man, listen, help me have some restraint. Help me to be like, hey man, yeah, good morning. You know, because sometimes, listen, that's a struggle to just, some people just say good morning to them and like, all right, I'm not, we're not having no powwows or nothing, but hey man, good morning. How you doing? How y'all doing? And for you in that situation, that's moving mountains. Yeah, that's nothing. You got to know everybody's mountains are different.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
So she'd be like, yo, I was able to just say hello and not strangle them.
Right.
That's your mountain.
I read you right. You're right. That's a woo. Because people will tear your nerves up.
Yeah. They will.
Nerves.
They will. And see, listen, it's those random things. Like I was in because I do work for like I'll be doing work sometimes for like Instacart and stuff like that, where you go shop for other folks. So every time without fail, when I go to this local Acme, and I'm starting to think, I was like, is it me? Every time I would approach, I don't know if it was the same woman, but 2 times it was a white woman. I approached her about like, oh, do you know where such and such is? And so when I get close to her,
she move away.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And for whatever reason, that's messing me up because I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, I know it's COVID. First of all, I got on a mask, you don't. What are you backing up for?
Yeah.
And it was really, and I really just went to the place of, is because I'm black? Like, what lady, what is this?
It might not be. It might
not be.
You gotta think about it. Like you said, it's COVID because she's not wearing a mask, and she probably don't want nobody up in her face, regardless.
But I mean,
if you look around and she ain't treat nobody else like that, then it's
and I don't know. So like I said, I can't lie. But my assumption was, you're not doing that with nobody else. Because I'm sure somebody else in this store done asked you where something was, and I'm sure you didn't. And I'm like, what? I wasn't gonna get in your lap.
You should have watched about 10 minutes to see if it happened.
Listen, I was so mad. I was just real mad in my head, so I didn't have time to be like, because usually I do think about stuff like that. Just be like, all right, let me mess with her. She messed with me. I walk up to her like, I would have did something, but she caught me off guard, and I'm like.
But you know what, we all go through that. We all go through, when somebody treats us a certain way, we swear it's personal. We go right to the personal thing. They got something against me. And it's not always personal though.
That's true.
Because somebody's action towards you has nothing to do with you.
That's true.
That's them.
Yeah.
It's their perception of things. It don't have nothing to do with you. So when somebody get to acting crazy and it seems to be towards you, it's not you. It don't have nothing to do with you. That's the way they're acting in their mind, and they're just acting it out. It don't have nothing to do with you. And that's the one thing we got to stop as people taking things personally. It's hard.
It's hard.
Especially if you've been through some traumatic experiences in your life where you've been made to feel that stuff has been your fault.
And that's why those triggers come in. That's
those triggers, you gotta, and it's hard. You gotta keep talking yourself down off the cliff and say, you didn't do anything to this person.
Yes.
You didn't do nothing to them. All you were was kind, nice. You didn't say anything. Or you gotta remind yourself that this is not you, and that this is them. That's their behavior. It don't have nothing to do with you. You gotta keep talking to yourself.
You'll start to believe that you actually did.
You sure will. You'll start to believe there's something wrong with you.
And,
it's not.
So
when
say something?
Yeah. Then so that woman did that. When she did that, leave her right where she at, Trey. I'd have left her right where she is. Well, you gonna run about your business.
Oh, I did. Like I said, I kept it moving. I was just like,
you acting a little weird. Okay, so let me just step away. Look at Latricia.
Right. She was like, and at first, listen, the first lady, because like I said, it happened to me twice. The first lady, I noticed it, but then I really didn't, because I was like, well, no, let me show her what. So she backed up some more. So I was like, oh.
You're black.
Yeah, I was like,
you know what you should have said? Excuse me, ma'am. Are you okay? Are you all right?
No, see, usually with stuff like that, I'll go sarcastic when I probably shouldn't. And so right there, I would have probably said something like, yes, I am contagious. Come near me. Please. I didn't have time. She hit me too quick.
Trey,
I didn't have time to be like.
Listen, Trey, sometimes you gotta break it down. Is my black too black for you?
Okay.
Why do you, ma'am? What am I doing?
Am I too real for y'all? I'm sitting here like, are you like back from the future past?
Yes.
I never seen a Negro in the store.
Because some people are still in that day.
Oh yeah.
They are still in that day. And we think that, just because we live in this world, that you're not gonna run into people like that. But it's KKKs around here all day.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh
They
yeah.
never went
Some
nowhere.
They in the White House.
Some of them the head of the state.
They in the Congress.
Yes,
Okay, so they all over the place.
They never left the White House. They've always been in the White House.
They still up in there.
Never left the White House. They in the police departments and all that.
They in the police, the fire department,
government officials,
and all kind. They all over the place. The Army,
and now
the Navy, the Marines.
Now they in ShopRite.
They in ShopRite.
Harassing you, Trey.
Right. Okay. Right. They all over the
I
place.
mean,
Please.
He said, let me back up. All right, we don't know what the real situation is, so we ain't going to judge her.
No, and listen, it's funny. After that, I had heat in the moment, but I didn't have, and see, I've always been like that anyway, when there's been a perceived, are you like racist? Because I remember one time we were, when I was working for a tree company, and we were just putting like the advertisements on the door. So we in like this, I guess, affluent neighborhood. Lady come out with her phone. And so that time I had time. So I was looking at her. I remind me of my cousin Keith. I just give her a Keith look. Like, yeah, what? Like, you know, and she, you know, she's saying something, so I'm like, and so she was silent. So I said, listen, you need to call somebody. And so I had time to be like, because it was just real stupid. Like, lady, I put a flyer on your door. Did I case the joint too? And that's what, like I said, that's how I felt. I don't know what she felt, but she did feel something because she got the phone out thinking, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, bright and early. Y'all got 500 cop cars patrolling this area because it's affluent. Trust me, you good.
And what you say, lady, I don't want nothing. I don't want you. And I don't want nothing.
Yeah, I don't want you, want nothing.
So
I
trust
said, it's
me.
hot out here.
If
I
I
mean,
was
it's
going,
like-
if I was going to take something, it wouldn't be out your house.
Right.
So trust me, you ain't got nothing I want.
Like, get your dusty bones in the crib.
Coming in your house.
You ain't got nothing I want in there. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a hot mess.
I'm a pack rat. She got everything I want.
Yeah, I got all the goods. Everybody want my goods.
Where you get them from?
I'm tired.
Right?
They want
my can of beans I
got in there.
Yeah, my can of beans.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Trey, pray us out.
Okay.
All right,
All
2
right.
weeks. Okay, wait. We're talking about let me just get
You
these.
said abandonment.
We're gonna talk about abandonment in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Abandonment issues. And then I guess we'll go in. We can talk about, well, I don't think we should talk about entitlement next 2 weeks. But entitlement and ego will be another topic, and then shame and low self-esteem will be another one.
Oh wow.
So
Ego gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good.
shame, low self-esteem affirmations. That's gonna be on with shame and low self-esteem.
Oh, nice.
You know, to bring it back how we basically can talk to ourselves and give ourselves hope within each other. So don't have to end on a bad note, you know.
Oh, you trying? Okay, Cosby Show. All right.
All right, Trey, pray us out so we can go to bed.
Okay. Father, we thank you once again for allowing us to come together and politic and talk and discuss things and have an open mind. So we just pray that you continue to work with us in our trouble areas, the things that agitate us and get us mad and worried and triggered and upset. We just trust you that we will continue to just get better at it, you know, get better with our focus, you know, for our fellow man. And we just ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I'm gonna stop. I thought I did, but I didn't.
Oh, the recording.